Okay, Reggie, before we get into today's segment, is there anything you'd like to speak on or talk about before we get going?
No, I'm just glad to be alive, y'all. Just glad to be alive. Um, Shout out to all of those of y'all that celebrating your birthdays from on first. Hope y'all having a good birthday month, birthday week, birthday day. Who picked August the 14th? Who picked August the 14th? Y'all remember I put a challenge about, I don't even think it's been a month, right? Maybe a month, 5 weeks ago, and said, Suge Knight and SKG, the row? I said that shit won't last 2 months. Well, as y'all heard on our channel, that stuff is dead. Now, I'm sure it happened before then, but the winner of the day, whoever put in the date of August the 14th, y'all make sure y'all screenshot it and DM it to your boy Reg, and you got $50 or any merchandise on the website that y'all see that y'all want. Because it's getting back cold. So those Pete Funk sweatshirts, they're going to be nice to wear in the wintertime. And the fall time in some of you countries that's on the, some of you states that's on the East Coast. All right. But anyway, SKG. So now she's trying to team up with Lil Shug. Because she don't even know, talking about maybe they should do the movie together. All right. Well, you know, they both young in their 30s. I was doing stuff like that in the 30s, so I guess they can make it happen. But that was funny. But as we know, Shook always fall out. So I'm not tapping that SKG no more. Whatever. Shook always fall out. That was an easy guess because Shook always fall out with anybody he's in business with where he can't control the situation. Y'all remember. Y'all remember when he talked about an ex-partner, his other podcast partner, just for those that y'all don't remember.
I had cussed weird ass Dave out too, you know.
Okay.
He wanted to call me, and he was like, talking about I'm fucking with the ops, right? Who the fuck you talking to? Oh, bitch ass motherfucker, who you think you talking to? You don't tell me shit, right? So then he was like, no, he was talking about the drag. What's that dude name? You know, we talked to one time.
Not the Russian.
The Russian. So you talking about the Russian, right? So Dave was like, yeah, man, that's the enemy. No, he didn't say the enemy. He said that's the ops. You talking to that dude? He said, dude said you supposed to be going thing. So I told that motherfucker, you bitch ass, nothing ass, dick sucking motherfucker, go talk to your ugly ass bitch. You ain't acting me shit. You don't check me. I talk to the motherfucker I want to talk to, bitch.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So who is you?
Yeah.
I said, you the main motherfucker ain't part of the culture either and acting like you black.
See, that's Shug. Y'all know anything about Shug? That's him. Who does he like from the 90s? Who? Tell me one person. Well, he's talk about J Flex here and there from the 90s. Okay. He kind of said some nice things about Eric B. I was kind of surprised to see that. He didn't shit on Eric B like I thought he would. He blamed it on Tupac, you know. You know, he always got to weaponize. Tupac didn't trust. That shit, but I ain't never seen any problems with Eric B and Tupac. But hey, who am I? The janitor while I was mopping the floors. I wouldn't have noticed anything like that. But hey, this is not going to be a Suge Knight hate day. Is it? We'll see. Other than that, I got nothing else to say, John.
Okay. While I definitely don't want it to be a Suge Knight hate day, he did do he did an interview on Art of Dialogue that I was actually shocked at some of the stuff he said, to be honest. So I'd like to play you a little clip and then get your reaction and get your insight into what you feel about it.
Yeah, John, I'd like for you to read or to try to play the clips piece by piece. Because I've been noticing, man, with my old age, I'll be forgetting stuff. And I'll be going back listening to videos and be like, damn, I forgot that part. So if we can do that as best we can, I appreciate it if we do it that way, John.
Okay.
because Keefe D said he was writing me letters and all this crazy shit we cared about no one to make a lie on me. Not only did he do that, he got attorneys involved. The first attorney he got involved, the guy sent me a message and more messages. And he called himself bullying me. So I tell this bitch ass nigga, you don't bully a bully. He told me that no one wants to be in the county jail. So when the lawyer and Keefe D them got together to say, either I signed some paperwork that say Keefe D was not there, or not even in Vegas, or none of this for a fact, let him go home, they gonna subpoena me, have me sitting in the Las Vegas County Jail.
Well, so did y'all hear that audio? So it's funny, boy. Where did y'all hear that first? Where did y'all hear that first, if y'all keep it real, for those of y'all that have really been around? Like, Suge ain't gonna want to go and take no ride handcuffed across the desert from San Diego, from his nice confines in San Diego to Vegas, to be in a LA or a Vegas County jail. Y'all remember me saying that a while ago? Said, I told Suge to stop talking. I told him to shut up when he was about to tell me when me and him was on the phone. But back to the story. Back to the story. So my whole thing is, trust me, y'all, Suge used this Reggie, Snoop, all of these people to weaponize, to get back. If y'all listen to that interview and y'all listen to these clips, Suge all but told y'all that Keefe D was one of the ones in the cars doing the shooting. And y'all got all the audio. Y'all listen to it. Y'all hear what he's saying. But all Suge is pretty much saying to y'all is, yeah, that nigga did it. But yeah, I'm not going to be no snitch. But then he going to say this. This is the favorite part that he said that I got a kick out of. Listen to this part.
My loyalty to Tupac is not for sale.
Did y'all hear that part? He said he doesn't use his relationship, I guess, or whatever, for sale. For Tupac, it's not for sale. Well, why did you have these sound-alikes with the realists, Top Dog, and all of them, if you wasn't trying to use your relationship or his situation for sale? Why every artist that you go talk to? Now, I don't believe it. I don't believe this either, but this is what Ja Rule say. Ja Rule say, you had a tear in your eye when you heard him and told him, you remind me of Tupac. What did Petey Pablo say? You remind me of Tupac. Man, I can tell you about 4 or 5 different artists that said, that Suge done said, oh, you remind me of Tupac. That's just Suge. But that's what Suge does. It's unfortunate that he liked to weaponize it. But the main thing that I learned from this, interview, y'all hear it. I'll play some more from it.
I'm gonna hit him 6 times, then 6 more times, then 2 times. Figure that shit out.
So it's not obvious to y'all. 662. He goes 662 him. Why would he 662 him then? Why? Okay. When did he get mad at Keefe D? When I got mad at Keefe D. Y'all forget. Y'all used to get mad at me for saying, Reg, talk to Keefe D, be talking to him on the phone. I told y'all, Keefe D and them did what was supposed to done in the world that all these guys portraying Compton and the guys that I was around.
But once his lawyers delivered me a book that this fool wrote, bragging about what he done to us or what he done to Pac, that's some bullshit.
I wasn't mad at Keefe D and them for retaliating to him. I was mad at myself for hiring a negligent security guard around Tupac that didn't call me and notify me of what happened. I know a lot of y'all say, oh, Suge said he called you. Suge done backtrack that. If y'all listening, Suge done said he told Frank. He thought Frank called and told me about the fire security guard. But I know because Gap 2's been preaching that in y'all head. You know, y'all don't hear that part. But Suge ain't never called me. And plus, Suge still had 10 of his killers, his supposedly gangsters, in that entourage himself. So even if they would have called and told me what happened, I don't think I would have been smart enough to send some more bodyguards, unless the Suge requested it. Suge requested something, I made it happen. I don't thump my nose at Suge in the 90s. I may think and look at him as an idiot in 2025, but in 1990, I didn't look at him. In the 90s, I didn't look at Suge as an idiot. But anyway, that's another subject. But I just laugh at this audio. And I mean, when he's saying this, because it's obvious to me. That's obvious to me. He done got caught up with like, wait a minute, hold on. I don't want that $1 million leader. I'm not getting on no stand testifying saying that Tupac didn't do this or this didn't happen. I just been on YouTube blaming shit on Reggie and Snoop and Sharitha and crooked cops and all of this. This was for fun for me. But now y'all trying to get me to sign shit and all this? Oh, hell no. I know I've been on the phone talking to Reggie. I don't know what that prison still got taped. I don't know what Reggie got taped for audio and shit. Where I'm saying, why does that nigga keep saying he wasn't in Vegas? That nigga was in Vegas. He trying to say he didn't do that, Reg? Hey, bomb first. Trust me. Reggie Wright ain't worried about this shit. Reggie Wright only get upset about this Tupac because y'all let clowns ass people that never been involved, never been around Tupac, never know anything about Tupac, say that Reggie Wright has something to do with the murder of Tupac. Suge do this to get back at Reggie Wright. If Suge Knight thought Reggie Wright tried to kill him, his cash cow, his little homie, Tupac Shakur, or anything like that, Suge Knight, number one, wouldn't have let me be involved in his company doing whatever capacity he wanted to say I was doing from 97 all the way. All the way. Ain't stopped. Ain't stopped if you want to keep it real. Me and Suge, this is the longest that me and Suge haven't talked. And what was that, about March of 2025 that I haven't heard from him, that me and him been tapping at each other? So, I don't know. But we'll talk tomorrow or the next day. I don't know when John gonna post it up about why Suge Knight is obviously mad, how he was put in that position, and who the clown-ass attorneys, PIs, and film documentary and YouTubers that he's pissed at. Peace, bomb first.
Reggie, I wanted to get your opinion on going back to that Suge interview that we talked about yesterday. He said something that was pretty shocking to me, and I wanted to see if I played it for you, if you felt the same.
This didn't stop there. They sent lawyers, all these people to talk to me, convince me to tell me they'll give me $1 million. They said, you know where the money coming from. It's coming from Puffy. We tried to use, well, I ain't gonna say the other dude's name, who tried to get him out before. They said it's coming from Puffy Camp, Puffy himself, to Corey, to Keefe D's son, to get Keefe D home because they don't want Keefe D snitching on Puffy anymore.
Yeah, I heard that. Like I said, there's been beef going on So what most people don't know, y'all done figured it out by now if y'all been listening to me. So there's this snitch on the YouTube named Snitch No Joke that started emailing Suge and somehow got a hold of Suge people and all of that. And they were communicating. And then he started meeting with that idiot from the dossier, Don, and then they connected him to RJ Bonds and all of that. And so they started dealing with RJ Bonds. We know what RJ Bonds and little Keefe D have, like, they call each other nephew and uncle, which I don't know how you call a racist, somebody that gets on YouTube using the N-word and all of that. And now he's your uncle. But hey, I guess if you got somebody that's going to put up money and find some attorneys for you and all of that, hey, he trying to get his daddy out of jail. So, so I guess I'll be a hoe too if it was trying to, get my daddy out of jail or whatever. So they got this filmmaker, RJ Bonds, and all of them on the phone talking to Suge. And Suge telling them everything just like he did Russell Poole, Michael Carlin and all that. Oh, y'all can get me out of jail or y'all can give me some money? Yeah. Telling them everything. But when it's time to pay the piper, when the end is coming, then that's when Suge switches up. So now Suge is out there exploiting it, spilling the beans, snitching, in my words, telling it all that these attorneys and little Keefe D and this person trying to get me to go against Tupac and say that he's not there. Well, if you would have said that from day one of talking to him, they wouldn't come at you that way. They wouldn't have came at you that way. So it's obviously you was telling them some bullshit, and now, for whatever reason, you don't want to keep up with the bullshit. Thank God you got a big mouth and came on YouTube to tell it. Now, I know you know the real. I know you don't know what you and Reggie been talking about and what's on those recordings, because that's going to kill everything you said. No DA in their right mind will ever subpoena you. You don't have to worry about that, dog. But a defense attorney, until you did what you just did, might have tried to call you and brought your ass down the road. So I know, when me and Red, when we was talking, I told you, keep running your mouth, keep lying. This is what's going to happen. You're going to be uncomfortable. You're going to be sitting in a Vegas County jail. You keep talking. And so Corey is not fucking with none of them. C-Rag. He is not fucking with no Keefe D, no little Keefe D or anything. So I don't know, Suge just making up stuff because he don't know the truth, or if because they were lying on Corey. Corey is still today it's a circle of people that they know Keefe D try to snitch on. Big Flint, people like that Corey is still cool with to this day. He was the one that connected and was cool with Von Zilp. Trust me. Keefe D don't want to fuck with him. As y'all see, he always calling Corey a rat. And trust me, Corey ain't fucking with no Keefe D or Keefe D's son. So all of that is just some lie. Who's telling that lie? I don't know if it's Suge. I don't know who it is. Y'all know no Diddy ain't gonna send no money, no legal money to nobody right now because all eyes on him. And he don't give a fuck. All he gotta say is, I don't know what they talking about. Diddy, y'all better leave Diddy alone. Because Diddy is winning all of this one this week where Dawn got 10 of her claims dismissed. And now he going after that attorney and that dude, I told you I was lying. He going after him and suing them and that network for $100 million. Man, whatever attorneys is that, I hope. But y'all, I need y'all. I need y'all in my life because I got this motherfucker that lives in Menifee, and I've been looking at this house, and this is a nice one-story house. I might could get my wheelchair in that motherfucking door. So I might want that house. But anyway, back to the subject. So now, that's just some talk. I don't know which one is lying on that. I'm glad that came out because that just shows the truth that, okay, sure, all right. You know, I know you say, give that fat motherfucker some flowers. And that's where I know where me and Suge problem falls because people tell Suge half truths. When y'all know, if y'all don't know, he was talking about me when about the 40 caliber and the 45. Y'all know I've been telling you. Well, somebody tell that dumb motherfucker he supposedly have a 40 caliber in his head, not a 45. Because y'all remember he kept saying 45. 45 caliber in my head. What? And nigga, but that's what whoever told you or you told him about the Glock. I ain't never used the word a Glock 40 caliber. How the hell would I know what gun or what bullet it is? 40 caliber Smith & Wesson bullet shoots, a Glock 40 caliber bullet shoots, any caliber. You don't know what type of gun it is unless you get the gun and you got the shell casings at the scene. But I know I'm going a little too deep and off the track. But anyway, y'all, Suge is finally telling the truth. But he lying and adding salt and pepper like he always do. Or somebody lying to him. But it's glad to see that he's not fucking with Carbonhead anymore. Snitch no joke. And, you know, like I said, I'm not going to beat on my chest about little Keefe D and all of that because Keefe D doing what a son's supposed to do. And so, hey, whatever it takes to get your daddy free, you're supposed to do. Just like I did when I told everybody, hey, my daddy had nothing to do with that shit, which was the truth. But one thing you're supposed to do is fall on the store for people in your life that you love. Don't be a selfish motherfucker. But I think I answered all your questions, John. I know it was something else that I wanted to cover, but I'll let you recap it if I did.
Okay, Reggie. Suge told a story about somebody named GS and basically said that this person pulled you out of your grandma's house and poured gumbo on you. Do you know what he's talking about? And is there any truth to that story that he's talking about?
I tell y'all, Suge be answering, adding salt and pepper and hot sauce to cases, boy. So unfortunate that Suge like to lie so much. Because, you know, he do tell some truth to a lot of stories. But he just adds so much to it, then you'd be like, God damn, Suge, why you had to tell that lie? All right. But since you're bringing up names and want to talk about some hood shit, Suge, let's talk about this hood shit. So GS. Who is GS, y'all? Everybody in the comments. Who is GS? Who is he talking about? Who went to your grandmama's house and pulled you out of the house and poured gumbo on you, Reg? Suge don't know Reggie is transparent. Reg done told all these stories before, if y'all ever listen. So, there's this dude from Ludus Park named Gangsta Sam is who he's talking about, right? So when I'm about 17 to 18 years old, Reggie Wright been a baller all his life, right? Reggie Wright was riding around in 82, a 1979 280ZX. But I have two grandparents that live in the city of Compton. One lived in the mob area next to James McDonald now, and the other one lived over kind of near Kelly Park, really right next door to the CCGs, Compton Chicano crew, Compton Chicano gang. Anybody from Compton know that spot, because that's the biggest weed spot in Compton. The address was 605 South Harris, is where my grandmother lived. So that's two sides of Compton, right? So I was on my way to deliver And I thank God that Gangsta Sam and his boy robbed me, because my mother and aunties and all of them, well, my mother wasn't there because it was my sister's birthday. It happened on Halloween night. My sister Kim's birthday is November the 1st. And so they were having a Tupperware party at my grandmother's house with one of my aunties. My mother and grandmother on my other side had made a bunch of gumbo, right? So my mama had me taking some gumbo over to my other grandmother's house. But they were sitting waiting outside to rob the ladies coming from out of the Tupperware house. I mean, from the Tupperware party. So as I'm walking in the yard of my grandmother's house on Harris Street, Gangsta Sam and his homeboy come up, not knowing it's Reggie Wright, their worst mistake of their life, because Reggie Wright Jr. lived way 4 or 5 miles away, you know, in the mob, not over here. But they robbed Reggie Wright Jr. And me and Suge just talked about that. That's why he even remembered the story, because we was talking about the Scar situation on the phone, you know. We'll get into that later. And so they robbed me, right? Gumbo spilled on my pants. You know, me and Gangsta fighting over the gun while they robbed me. But I acquiesced. They could have this car. They take off in my 280ZX, right? They go riding around. Gangsta Sam was been on a tear, robbing everybody. You know, probably was smoked out at the time. So he robbing everybody, but Gangsta Sam was a gangster. But he riding around. They go to Linwood, rob some Mexican, shoots the Mexican, right? But by that time, Reggie Sr. and Compton PD, and the helicopter is up. Helicopter spots them. They go in a little pursuit. Guess what Gangsta Sam? Y'all don't believe it. And the goddamn pursuit ends right on the corner of Bradfield and Pine. Gangsta Sam and his boy eventually get arrested, and all of that. He goes to jail for 7 years, right? All right. So that's what he's talking about with the gumbo story. But since you want to bring up Gangsta Sam and bring up some shit, sure, let's talk about what you did to Gangsta Sam that I know he don't know about. Well, he knows about it, but every time they hear it, they get mad. And hopefully, well, there ain't nobody but Hank in there, Hank Granberry. I don't know. I hope it's some bunny hunters or some. I don't see. That's the problem. You in that fucking weak ass yard, and ain't nobody can't really do nothing to your bitch ass. But anyway, I'm gonna tell the story. So, Butcher gets killed, right? Because I know he's trying to weaponize me having something to do with the murder of Butcher and all of that. We'll get into that later. Me and John talk about that later. But listen to Mike Couette, y'all. Listen to what he say.
Yeah, so the employees that were arrested were also members of the Mob Piru and were employees at Death Row Records. And I don't think I answered the rest of your question before, how we ended up going in there. One of the cars used in the Eric Daniels murder was a rental car, and we were able to track it back to Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and that car was rented to a Timothy McDonald, who was also an employee at Death Row Records at the time. The check that paid for the rental car came back from the Death Records account and was actually signed by Suge Knight. That's what led us into his business, all his homes, and the rest of the Mob Piru gang members that were employed there.
All right. Let me break this down and explain it to y'all. So Suge Knight, which he was supposed to, in my opinion, but I know he's scared to talk about it because these Ludus Parks niggas don't really know. He pays for a rental car for Timmy and Mikey Rue and Hendall, are the rumors. I'm not saying it's true or not, I don't know. But these are all the three names, I just throw those names out. that supposedly went to go retaliate for the murder of Buntry, right? So these three get in the car, rent it and pay for it, because, you know, niggas hire rentals when they want to do some dirt. But guess who signed the check? As y'all heard Mike Coed say, Suge Knight. He gives Timmy the money to go rent the car. They go and do a drive-by. No, not a drive-by. They go in the apartment buildings right across from Louisburgers, y'all. For those of y'all know anything about Compton. And they kill Scar, Gangsta Sam's little brother, who was forced into the car when Buntry got killed. I heard that he didn't even want to go on that mission. So tell that story, Suge Knight. Tell how you had Gangsta Sam, since you so scared to mention his name and just want to say GS. Tell how you had his brother. You was the one behind having his brother killed in retaliation for Buntry. Which, like I said, I agree. Y'all should have done. But since you want to hang out and be talking to Ludus Parks now, because niggas don't know from the mob, that's who you be on the phone with. But that's another story for another day. Peace bomb first.
Suge has mentioned this before, but people in the comments have too, so I wanted to get your take on why is it that why is it that, or what do you think about people who say that you just tell death row stories and that you should stick to just telling cop stories or stories about, you know, when in your early days when you were a police officer?
Yeah. Well, this channel bomb first, right? Most of the people that's over here came over here for stories about death row, not Tupac. Y'all say Tupac. I remember the comments you say, oh, you always talking about Snoop. Oh, you always talking about this person. You always talking about Suge. Well, from 94 till about 2018, Reggie Wright was deeply involved in pretty much everything involving death row. I can't think of anybody else that can say they had some type of connections to death row from 94 to 2018. Anybody. K-Dub has a little longer run now because he had from the 91 to about 94, he stopped. And then he started back up with John Payne and Snoop, probably like 2010 or something like that, to Presidents. So maybe K-Dub. But who else been around? Because y'all say, well, how Reggie you were? Okay, let me explain. So I worked strictly security. Only security company that had a security contract with Death Row. And me, Reggie personally, was just to be around Suge whenever possible. Got a little salary. So that's up until 97. June of 1997, that position went on. 97 till 2002, Reggie Wright dealt with the day-to-day operation. Wasn't nothing involved that went down in Marion Suge Knight and Death Row life that Reggie didn't know about or Reggie didn't pretty much authorize to get done. Nothing. As far as the corporation. And I can say a lot of his personal stuff too. I don't know what he was doing in that jail, but on the streets. So then I went and worked at another record company for about 2 years. But then I came back in 2004 because Suge got a violation, taking little underage girls across state line, right? So when I did that in 2000, and you know what? I think he might even beat that. I think he got the violation really for the assault with the valet guy. I think he only did like 2 months when he did the little girls. But they mainly got him for that assault against the valet guy when Pooh Ryder did. One thing I say about Suge, he held high on that. He could have snitched and got out of that, but he did 9 months for Pooh Ryder. I'll be the first to admit that. All right. So that went on until about 2005. left, went back doing my thing, started doing some stuff for somebody named True Daddy Entertainment. 2007, Suge is going through bankruptcy. Red, man, we need to get this money, man. We both out here doing bad, and niggas out here owe us money. Let's get us a track truck, and let's go. And me and Suge going around terrorizing everybody. From L.A. Reid, got $200,000 one time out of him. Y'all done heard the story where me and Suge was pushing up on Damon Thomas and Babyface, and those niggas was wired for sound and all of that. But anyway, QD3, everybody, we just up there getting money like crazy. You know, that's why that detail situation worked out. Happened with Akon. We going around collecting money from everybody, but we living. 2009, we get a lick from Interscope and all of that, and he wanted all the money. Like, no, Suge. I'm not taking this big hit on this $200,000. I'm not taking this hit and only getting $50,000. I was like, no, fuck that, you know, because that was a check, a legal check. So me and him falls out. That's 2009, 2010. But also the bankruptcies is tripping. And then that's when one of his baby mamas go on and tell the bankruptcy court, oh, Reggie gave me $10,000. Well, shit, why your baby mama saying that? We in a bankruptcy. You know, now the trustees asking me, hey, y'all, you just get a $200,000 check from Interscope. What's up with this money? Or maybe it was from L.A. Reid. I forget which one it was. And I'm like, your baby mama said that? I said, that's for your son and your other son to live off of. And I go meet up with her and give her 10 G's, and now she running her mouth. But no problem. So I'm not fucking with you no more, Suge Knight. So that's what me, Lloyd Lake, all y'all say, all these niggas only talk Suge because Suge is in jail and all that. Nigga, y'all go look at this audio right here.
Mr. Knight was on top of her, beating her, was actually in the act of violently beating her when the officers arrived with the knife in his hand. Let there be no mistake, she was brutally assaulted. It's just fortunate that while this was happening, we had a citizen who saw the act occurring, called police, and that we were able to get there in a timely manner. Because had we not got there when we did, this thing very easily could have ended up tragically.
He had me call the U.S. attorney investigating death row records and him at the time. If that deal was still on the table about giving up David Kerr and Longo, if that deal was still on the table, I called the U.S. attorney for him like he requested. So I need the attorney on record to call me and express what Mr. Knight wanted to do. It was an attorney out of Las Vegas by the name of David Chesnoff. David Chesnoff was known, you know, he a real gangster attorney. He was known for representing mafia figures, allegedly mafia figures and high-profile people. And he said, Reggie, you know I like Suge and have a lot of respect for Suge, but one thing I don't do is represent rats. Me and Lloyd Lake, Tata. Shit, nigga. Suge was a free man. So y'all stop that. Y'all only talking shit because Suge's in jail bullshit. So my whole point is, and during all that time, I forgot to tell y'all, I'm employed by E1, Koch, making 10 G's a month. Because they just want me to keep Suge away from their office pretty much and let me deal with everything. So I'm making 10 G's a month all the way to 2018. So I was a cop from 1985, well, I was really in the jail, didn't become a cop until 1989, until, what's that? 1995. That's all I was a cop from. So I did, 11 years, 10 years as a cop, 11 years I total is how my retirement go. So my point is, I did more time in the music business working at Death Row than I did as a cop. So because I'm a jack of all trades, I'm a Jamaican or whatever you want to call it. I can't tell my stories about death row. They only Suge stories. Why you telling my dad's stories? Why you telling all these clowns be saying? Why you don't tell your police stories? I love to sit up here and talk about police stories and stuff like that. But is this the channel for that? When I went on Vlad, I talked about my upbringing and stuff like that and how I became a cop. Bomb First is not where you telling police stories at. But I would love to help educate you youngsters about what to say. There's a channel out there by my boy Miller Experience, is the name of his channel, where he's doing a great segment about what you do when you get pulled over and stuff like that. I would love to tell stories like that. But is Bomb First the channel for that? So that's why I get so offensive, and that's why when people say how you can't tell that, who else could tell death row stories? Half the shit y'all done heard. That's why Suge is so mad. If y'all keeping it real, how many of these stories have Suge told that y'all ain't heard in some way with all the hot sauce and pepper and salt that Suge like to add to shit that y'all haven't heard from Reggie Wright? Tell me one. So that's why he's disappointed. Y'all used to always ask me, why you ain't write a book? Why you ain't doing a TV series? And I used to always say back then, because those are Suge stories to tell. Not doing anything, because those are Suge stories to tell. But then Suge goes, not come home, he ain't home. But he gets on YouTube because of Reggie, when I'm talking, and he know it when I had Rick and all that talking to you about podcasts and all of that, and trying to tell you how we can get $10,000 to $12,000 a month and all of that shit. You got those conversations, you know about it. And so when we did all, that's what made you feel comfortable with coming in podcasts, because you thought this YouTube and podcast shit was some bullshit. Wasn't no money in it. It ain't no money in it compared to what you was making, but it's enough to keep the lights on. It's enough to keep you from having your baby mama, your fiance or whatever, from using her ex-football player. Oh man, I'll wait till Toy say something. I'll wait on that. But that profile shit that Detective Sergeant Kiddo was supposed to could have got you on. If you know I'm talking about that, I got all that documents Toy and shit. The ex-football player and his wife profile, But hey, it would have kept her from doing stuff like that. That's all I'm saying. Should be done. So Reggie Wright can tell as many death row stories as he chooses, because who has the right more than he do? Now, if I go start talking about 91, 92, 93, and even some parts of 94, then I totally agree with you. And prior to 1997, have I ever told any stories over here on Bomb First about music or being in the studio or being back there in the back? But you say people like Queenie and Isis and all of them couldn't go in the back, couldn't go in the studio. Sure. Why? Because they elect to come over here and do an interview with us, then they got to catch strays. But just to remind you, your pictures, here's a few pictures. Here's just a few. I can come up with tons if you need it, with Isis and Queenie in the back, in the studio. You say Tupac never talked to me? Well, or security, maybe you said security. Well, here's one story. Yeah, this is how Tupac came to me.
Reggie. There's Frank right there. Frank, Reggie.
when one of his homeboys about to get arrested and go to jail. Who they run? Who did they call to go get him out so he wouldn't go to jail? Stop the clown act, Suge. Peace.
Okay. I saw that this YouTube channel was trying to live stream documents that they claimed were FBI files on you. Did you see that? And do you have any idea what they're talking about?
Yeah, I know he's been running that little series all week. That is a straight clown over there. Him and his new partner, who I've been giving a pass to. But Spider Loke, Deuce Hills, and the clown that I'm talking about, Discretion TV, y'all better be careful with y'all commentary. I do tell y'all, hey man, get y'all content. Do what y'all gotta do. But when y'all start using the word bitch and all of that shit, y'all better be careful. Because y'all channel what's gonna happen to Discretion TV gonna happen. Because y'all live off of content off of Reggie Wright. All these fake ass Photoshop pictures and AI pictures and shit trying to make a nigga look bad. Because the nigga is kind of fine and sexy. Big sexy, huh? Ask your mama, ask your baby mama. I bet you they agree. Not all you 200-pound females in the comment section that's talking shit. Yeah, because I don't like no fat woman. But anyway, yeah, I mean, those are documents that Attorney Jasmine done put together from all over. And they calling it a FBI Freedom of Act file. How the hell the FBI gonna do a Freedom of Act file on me in 2023? Who cares about Reggie Wright back then? I'm talking about wearing diapers and this and all of that. Well, stuff like that was put in a lawsuit. And so they copying and pasting and putting all that together and trying to make me out to be a rat. Even y'all to see the paperwork is so badly put together and all of that. They talking about that I, back in the early 90s, was saying how I used to work for Puffy off the books. Diddy and Puffy and them, I never worked for no Diddy and them off no books or anything like that. That retired cop David Mack and Rafael Perez were my father's friends and my friends. Retired cops in 95? See, that's people that don't know shit. These motherfuckers didn't get retired or fired until 1998. See, that's when people just putting shit together, copy and pasting and putting paperwork together that don't make no sense. I seen this gap-toothed motherfucker and all these motherfuckers talking about I supposedly told gang members, and I've seen this paperwork before, Ken Knox, some cop named Knox from LAPD, that Suge's rolling with gang members now and all of that. So they can come and raid the studio. I hope Suge don't believe shit like this. I know I have to remind him. And that's why I used to like to talk to him, because when he asks me crazy shit that's been said out there, he'd be like, oh yeah, Red, where the fuck they get that from? He knows. He knows. After Tupac got shot, I was in the Vegas house with him that whole week. So when I'm gonna go down there and meet with some LAPD cops in Vegas, and I'm in Vegas with him. And if y'all talking about 3 days after Tupac died, then I was with him getting ashes and stuff. We went and hung out in Vegas for about a week after that. Y'all got evidence where I took Suge and David Kenner and George Khalees and all of them down to the Vegas police station, I think 2 or 3 days after that to meet with the Vegas detectives and stuff. We went and we stayed and laid low out there. We went and saw, don't you remember we went and saw Dionne Warwick in concert and stuff? Not Dionne Warwick, I'm sorry. Natalie Cole. She had a residency at the Caesar Palace. We hung out there for about a week after that, worrying about Tupac. And then we went and took care of all that stuff. So, man, motherfucker, but we all know, anybody that was around know that was Kevin Lewis that had started snitching after he got his ass whooped But everybody always thought it was Reggie was the studio manager and all that because the control I had over the studio, because security ran the studio. But everybody wanted to say, but everybody know that was Kevin Lewis after he got beat up by Mark Williams and now. Got his ass jumped in the back. But hey, man, they keep, and that's why Attorney Jasmine got to get her stuff together. She gonna have some problems because she out there dealing with these clowns, dealing with clowns. And then she wonder why I made the negative statements about her that I did. She'd be in the comment section, oh, Spider Loke, Discretion TV, on a live stream of Deuce M's, and then on the phone doing three-way calls to Choke No Joke. These are the clowns of YouTube for people that have any sense. Next you'll be dealing with RJ Bonds, carpet head. But I don't know. But I saw that. I don't know. It's hard to even say. I'll just say y'all read through the shit. Y'all look at it. And y'all see that's just a bunch of different things that have been wrote about Reggie, lawsuits and stuff like that they done put together. And they trying to call it an FBI files. But one thing that it don't say is Reggie Wright said, and we interviewed Reggie Wright. Because that's one thing Reggie Wright ain't never did that y'all always trying to push. Is be no informant. The only time Reggie Wright ever talked to some attorneys or anything on a case was when he got in trouble himself. And he was going down there to save his daddy. Nobody else. Can't nobody else say I ever talked on them. But y'all find it. Y'all get it. Y'all get one of those Great Street dudes to come and say that Reggie testified against them. Set them up from Memphis. No, Reggie did his time. He stood strong, went in there and did some time for some marijuana. For weed. The most legal shit in America right now. Peace.
Okay, I saw not long ago Daz was a guest on All the Smoke podcast, and he was talking about, and he's talked about this before, but I wanted to get your take. He was kind of bragging about how he stole music from Suge, and he took this and took that from Death Row. What are your thoughts when you hear Daz repeating the story over and over?
Well, that's Dad's claim to fame that he punked Mr. Badass Suge Knight and his understudy Reggie Wright, I guess. That's his claim to fame. All right, let's clear up some stuff because I know a lot of people say it and Jazz agrees to it. That Jazz got $25 million from Death Row. Okay. Jazz got a default judgment for $25 million because Suge, for some reason, he don't like to go to court. For some reason, especially in the 90s, he would not go to... He'll go to court on some criminal shit, but civil shit, he has a hard time going to court because he thinks he's a fucking attorney and shit always get dropped by the waistline because he be trying to play attorney. But okay. Daz got... Guess how much he got from that judgment? Probably not one red cent because it was in the bankruptcy. And they got dismissed in the bankruptcy. So Daz need to stop lying about this. He got $25 million from Death Row. That's a lie. All right. Now, the real things. I punked Reggie because he didn't know, and all I did was play, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. Oh, Daz. Okay. So he drove a U-Haul up and punked me and took the reels, right? Is what he says in the interview. And I may be running some of the interviews together because he, like John said, he done spoke on this so many times. Well, that's a robbery. And if y'all don't think I can't believe that I'm just killing, because I done heard somebody told me I've been responsible for 5 people that got killed, which is not true at all. But I'm going. If any of that's truthful, those of y'all want to believe that, y'all can't believe Daz came and robbed me, drove up a U-Haul truck, and took all the Tupac reels. All right. This didn't happen, y'all. But what Daz did have, and Suge, you know, being the suave dude that he was, he got up under, and that's why Daz is so angry. He got up under Maria, Daz's baby mama, this chick from Indiana that had Daz convinced she ain't never been with another man but Daz. And she was a cool. Maria was cool, one of the coolest chicks. Y'all know how down Kenya is? His first baby mama? She was as cooler than, she was cooler than Kenya, to be honest, but nah, you can't be as cool as Kenya. Kenya too cool. But Maria was the wife and the baby mama that Suge got up under. And so she was telling him how he had these reels, about 10 or 15 reels at his house. And she was like, what? Okay. And Daz had just bought her because she the one that turned Suge onto G-Wagon when Suge went out and got that G-Wagon, right? And so he had her to go one day and bring them up and load the studios up and bring them to Track Studio. Suge, would you please talk about stuff like this and all of that bullshit? How that time when we had her come up to Track Studio with all of those reels in the back, and what we did, what we had Butch Small do, that's when we took the reels that he had, but she was like, I can't go home without these. And what Reggie come up with the smart idea to do? We put blanks inside the reels and let her take them home. So now Daz knows this is what happened to him. And so he always like to tell this story like, this is what he did to us. I'm telling y'all, this is what happened. It happened, I remember Suge came, it happened on the weekend, because I wasn't even fucking with Suge then. He just called me up there and was like, Red. And I came up there because we were still cool. But this was, he had just came from Super Bowl. The Super Bowl that happened in 2002. That weekend is when it happened. Super Bowl that happened in 2002. That night. I'm just trying to say that just so Suge will remember. When we had to go up the tracks, and that's when we took and switched out the reels on Daz.
As I remember it to be, we were recording at Track Record Studio, and a young lady, I don't even know who it is or whatever, I've heard that it could have been Daz's wife. But anyway, she brought in a couple of reels, maybe 2 or 3, 4. And I think it was allegedly said there was Tupac reels or something like that. So when she brought the reels, there was a switching of the reels, the actual masters out, and other blank, brand new tape put into the box. Now that I do remember, and that was under the, I was at the studio because I ran studio. Mr. Knight was there, Reggie Wright was there, and a few artists were there, you know what I'm saying? But it was studio business as usual when this happened.
Now, whatever Daz had before then and all those, y'all gonna be saying, oh, Daz was selling us. Well, number one, I bet none of y'all could ever say y'all got any Machiavelli and Daz Dillinger CD. But Daz was the king of that then, because he was good. He had a little studio at his house. Don't y'all remember that hit he made with, when he did a remix with Usher and all of that? He probably had never seen Usher before in his life at that time. But that's what Daz was doing, taking his vocals and putting them on songs with other people's vocals and stuff like that. And that's how Daz was smart. Daz was smart in keeping his name alive like that. But that's what Daz was doing, and that's what Daz did. why dads keep like trying to tell this story about the $25 million. He slammed and beat up Reggie and Suge. He stole the reels and all of that. I don't know why dads like keep telling that, but I don't know who's the biggest motherfucking liar on YouTube. Either Fat Joe, Suge Knight, and Daz Dillinger. Let's put it in the comment section. Who tells the best story lies than those three? Because in my opinion, those three got to beat. And I know the haters going to say, and you, Reggie Wright. But I bet you I won't win that poll. But it's going to be Suge Knight. Y'all really know Suge Knight will win that poll. But Fat Joe tells some good ones too. Peace bomb first.
Okay, Reggie, I wanted to get your thoughts on something else that Suge said recently on an Art of Dialogue interview. He said that a lawyer friend of his allowed him to see the video of Keefe D cutting a deal with the FBI, and he basically told on everybody and started working with the FBI. And the reason he said this was he was like, little Keefe D's acting like, you know, being Keefe D's son is a big thing, but his dad told on everybody, and if the wrong people run into little Keefe D, there won't be a little Keefe D anymore. Did you hear that part?
I heard that part of the interview. I mean, I don't know who the lawyer friend is that him and Keefe had in you know, the same. I couldn't even tell you who that is. But I don't know. I'm sure there's a lot of attorneys that go up there to visit Suge at the prison. And I know it wasn't RJ and them, because RJ and them ain't going to say nothing bad about Keefe, right? But I believe it was him and that little team that they got assembled that's been going up there trying to see Suge by evidence of Suge's statements that they were coming up there. And he put an S on it, attorneys. So it's obvious attorneys been going up there meeting with Suge. I wouldn't even doubt that, you know, the DA has been up there to meet with Suge and no investigators. They would be negligent if they didn't have an investigator from the defense side and from the DA office to go up there and meet with Suge. So he's been talking to people. We all know. I try to tell y'all don't hear it because y'all don't care. Unfortunately, you guys on YouTube right now, rats is the new thing. I mean, 6ix9ine, Little Woody, Charleston White, Gunna. The list just goes on where right now rats are glorified. All right, glorified. So I always tell y'all, snitching is only when you and somebody else decide to go do something together, and then you get caught, and then you decide to want to tell the story. That's right now. Somebody breaking in my neighbor's house and stealing shit out of their house and all of that. Y'all call snitching. I call that being a witness. Call the police. But okay, y'all glorify rats. But that list that Keefe D was named in 1998, I'll try to have John to post it and show those names again if I can find it. Y'all just don't know the names in LA County that was on that list. And when Suge finally saw that name in that list, I know he was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I can't be hollering free Keefe D and all of that shit and all of that. And he told on these people, this list, y'all don't get. Like I said, these are dudes that's under the radar that don't want their names mentioned on this YouTube stuff. And so I get it. I understand it. Suge knows it. I know it. Anybody from LA County knows the shit that Keefe did in 1998. And y'all got to remember, I can understand if Keefe D was in the situation he in now, where they trying to face him with life or something like that. Keefe D, when he did this, was already in jail, had already got his time, was sitting in a federal penitentiary attorney room when he gave these statements to the detectives. So that's why Suge really had to turn and disassociate himself from Keefe D and stop playing the games. you know, but that's what he meant by attacking little Keefe D and all of that, so they can stop sweating him about, because it was all fun and games with Suge at first. But now he see how serious this is. It's getting close. And I don't know. I don't know about the $1 million offer. I know how my boy adds salt and pepper to shit and hot sauce and just a fucking liar. Fuck it. He's a habitual liar. So I know how he does that. But that's all I feel was going on. But Suge definitely had to disassociate himself from this stuff because he knows how powerful of those names that Keefe D was mentioning is from in the 90s. And for him to be hollering free Keefe D and all of that, playing, he decided enough is enough and had to stop playing no games.
Okay, Reggie, did you see where Suge is kind of doubling down on his statement, trying to insinuate that you had something to do with the passing of Buntry? And then he always talks about how you went and met up with the person that was riding in the car with Buntry at the time when he went to Denver or something like that. Did you see where he keeps talking about this?
Yeah, you know, it's a guy, it's a young man that's no longer with us. Rest in peace to him. That he's talking about. I'm glad to hear him say that finally, because a lot of the people have been brainwashed from Frank of all people, who I hadn't fucked with. That's in 2002. I hadn't fucked with since 1996. But of all people, try to say that Reggie Sr. was in the car with Buntry when that happened, which is the craziest shit that I heard. But you know what? That is true. I met up with Ty Stick with K-Dub in Denver, Colorado, when I was on a promotion tour with the relatives. But as far as giving any money to them or anything like that, I mean, I don't know why Suge is making the allegations, but that's Suge. But you know what? But I'm not going to get into this because that's not that's McDonald's business. And I'm going to see if my boy Mob James McDonald want to talk about it. And if James want to talk about it, then we'll talk about it. If he don't want to talk about it, then we won't. We'll let him talk about something else. But let me get James on the phone. And then also, y'all make sure y'all promote y'all new podcast y'all working on too.
I'm so burnt out. I don't know why we're going back and forth. And this man is doing 28 years in prison. But anyway, I'm going to say this. Stick was in the car with Buntry when this happened. Rest in peace to Stick. Stick was running scared as fuck, thinking because they felt he saw something who they were, he was scared as fuck. Stick came to my mom's one day and told Bonds he didn't have nothing to do with what happened. Told her they was at the gas station. He sat in the car while Buntry was pumping gas, yada yada. And he had to run. He explained to her he was scared. And Stick left. Anything other than that, and he cried to my mother. Anything other than that, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting the wind of it. I heard about Reggie Wright was supposed to have been in the car. And I killed that real quick. How would Reggie Wright Sr. ain't been a ride with none of the homies in no car? He ain't riding with Buntry, kicking it with Buntry. Ain't nobody got that kickback status with Reggie Wright Sr. So that was nipped in the bud a while ago. I mean, right when it happened, right after Stick came to my mom. I don't know where Suge is getting what he's getting. I'm not gonna bash that dude, but I can say Suge is putting a 100 on the 30, and he needs to knock it the fuck off. He knows exactly what happened, and I say that because if with the way he said it, all hell would have really broke loose, and Stick wouldn't have been light, period. And It ain't like motherfuckers didn't know what type he was or what was going on with him. And he sure wouldn't have been hanging out or associated and kicking it. Periodically, he called my mom's to see how she was doing it and whatever. She was more worried about him because what the situation was. So, Reg, I'm tired of this motherfucker. I don't know what Suge is up to. You know, Suge say a lot of shit. And I'd say 90% of the shit he say, he's putting too much on it. He start off on the right, and then he just goes left with his bullshit. You know? So, I don't know, bro. I don't know, but Caustic wasn't running from the homies. Caustic was running from the situation. And I didn't blame him for it. It just shows he didn't want to stick it out and take a chance on his life. Can't be mad at him.
Exactly. Well, James, we're going to end it there. I can tell, I know you don't. You know, I woke you up early this morning, and man, we're going to do something with you this week because there's a lot of things we need to address. And I need you and John also just let people know that y'all be coming with something real soon. And I'm excited to hear those 3 days a week conversations you and John have, keeping up with the fresh news, not old death row stories, with stuff that's just going on the YouTube world.
I really don't want to do, no Compton on Suge Knight, for sure. I'm not going to even clap back at that cat. I didn't say what I had to say. And if people want to believe what this man is putting out there, then they got a right to believe what they want to believe. Their choices. I listen to, I don't want to give that dude no credit, and I don't even know him, No Joke or something like that. Whatever his podcast is, I don't know him. I listened to some of the shit that brother had to speak on me. He don't know me. And if people want to believe Mob James didn't have a mob ring, niggas know I don't wear jewelry. I wear a ring and I wear a watch. I got pictures with my mob ring on. You feel me? So these cats, man, social media is a motherfucker, but you know, when you enter this world here, shit happens. But anyway, yeah, me and John and we should be good to go next month. I'm still working on a name, something catchy where people can know that it's me. I was trying to run from the Mob James shit, but everybody keeps saying you gotta do that.
Yeah.
And I get it. What I used to be ain't what I am today. So, I mean, it's nothing but a name.
I love my vote is mobbing with James McDonald. I love that one, but I ain't gonna. I know that's you and John's decision, but we're gonna end it there.
I can go with that one, John. Let's go with that. And rock and roll. So, I want to know what people want to hear about. I'm not just gonna comment. I don't want to talk about cats I don't know. I can speak on some shit, give my opinion, but I ain't here to bash none of these cats. And just bring something different. I do want to touch on all the gangbanging shit that's going on because I'm in that field. I know a lot of shit is going on. Yeah, Reggie, I could just call me, man, because I watched that video, which is the one with you and Wack. And I don't know what that man means. I shouldn't have said what I said.
I think he meant it in a positive way. I think he really was trying to say, I understand James now. But we'll talk. Let's end it here, and we'll talk, and I'll give you a call later on.